Welcome back, and on today's show, To Read and Write, we've been discussing women's empowerment through education. Now, joining us in the studio is Progression and Alumni Manager for City Year UK, Zipporah Kissi.
Hi.
Welcome,
Hi.
Zipporah. So what are the aims of City Year UK? What's it
City Year
about?
is a youth and social action charity. What we do, we get young people between 18 and 25 to work in schools as near peer support. So they're mentors, tutors, role models. They volunteer full-time for an academic year of service. So Monday to Thursday, the earliest 7:30 for breakfast club and late for after-school club, in-class support. And then as they give, they also gain for our development program. So we kind of train them professional skills, how to write a CV, how to get the word of work, communication skills, and that's for the whole year.
That is brilliant.
Yeah,
How long
amazing.
has that been running for?
So it started in America in 1988. So it's in every state in the States, and it came to UK in 2010 is when I started as well. And we're currently in Manchester, West Midlands and London.
Wow. Okay, so some of the major points.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
So why are you so passionate about this charity?
It's pretty personal to me. I think it works. So I joined City in 2010 when it first started, and I dropped out of university because of depression. So I didn't finish university. I just got through the second year. And as you can imagine, all my friends were getting big boy jobs and doing well, we're making money. And I was, little old me was like, oh, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So although I was working 3 part-time jobs, so I'm a grinder, I don't sit still. I also felt like I was always making it short compared to my friends. So I found City, I was like, let me give back. I born and raised in Hackney. The school I was in was in Hackney. So I thought, let me give back to what we do. And during the service, I realised it actually works. I worked with 2 siblings from Bangladesh and Thailand, no English, limited social skills. At the end of the year, the little boy in assembly was like, thanks for teaching me English.
Oh,
so I was just like,
amazing.
A whole me, and this is assembly in front of loads of kids in school, and you want to thank me.
Yeah.
So it actually does work. So I've gone from being a volunteer to management in the last 7 years. So I've developed as well, and that's made me feel like I can make a difference too.
It's great.
It sounds amazing. It really does. What do you think prevents young people from reaching their potential?
I think it's a lack of self-belief and no one to believe in them. So for me personally, having depression in the ethnic community is not widely known in its first instance. I couldn't talk about it with anyone. I couldn't be free to get the help that I needed. Whereas nowadays, if we've gone through loads of things, they can be like, this is how I dealt with it. This is what you can do to get through it. So we have someone that can kind of be holding their hand, so to speak, to get through. It makes a big difference. So because there's no support, I feel, people feel lost in the system.
See? The support.
Yeah,
it's really important. I didn't get that support. Don't get me wrong, you know, it didn't stop me. It hasn't stopped me, people. It hasn't stopped me. Yeah. But, you know, it's crucial. The support, you know, I could have gone further, you know, with that support.
Do you ever get any feedback from the teachers about why they might be like how what Diane is saying? I know there's loads of pressure in teaching these days. You know, the class sizes, and even people not speaking English. If you are teaching a class of 35 people, and you've got so many, you could have maybe 10 different languages in one class. So do they ever give you feedback about maybe how they feel, why they have, for want of a better word, lacked giving the support?
So like you said, teacher's role is not as one-to-one as we'd hope it to be. So they manage 30 children at one time. The thing they take home with them is immense. Like their holidays aren't really their holidays. So I think one thing City, I think is good. We go in and we're like children support. They have TAs for the teachers, we support the children. So someone that can be one-to-one, but like, I realised you didn't come to school yesterday, or your clothes are a bit dirty today, what's going on? And they could be the eyes and ears on the ground. And they're a bit distant and detached from the actual students, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's difficult because just speaking to some teachers, I think they also have guilt, and that's the thing. I think they want to do better, and at times, and not that I'm sort of justifying what you went through, Di, for instance, but if you have got 30 kids, sometimes it's like you can't always pick up oh my goodness, like you said, their shirt's dirty and what's happened and so on, because let's face it, teachers do an awful lot and they're not paid very much. And there's so much marking to do, and then you're taking work home with you, and then you're coming back, and sometimes you've got another class to look after on top of that, and it's really, really hard. And I think sometimes you've got 30 people to look after, and you're just thinking, I need to get through this curriculum, because they've got those pressures as well. So sometimes it's not always as easy, and it's wonderful to have a charity like yours that can sort of make up for what they can't do.
But you, Zipporah, you actually sound passionate about what you do as well, and I think that's true. Really does make a difference.
That's true. true.
Sometimes you can start a job and you can really love that job, but because of all of the politics that's going on along with it, you end up just doing the job the way the job meant, just getting and going,
ticking the box, like they said,
basically. Right? But you sound passionate, and I think that's the key to teaching.
Definitely.
You have to be passionate, you have to be able, it's not just about teaching, it's actually about having those 30 students and thinking, hold on a minute, I know something's wrong here. That's the part of your job, actually.
Trying to impact lives.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So,
Can I just ask you, just out of curiosity, how inclusive do you think education is?
I think it's getting better from when I was at school. I think there's still more to do. So before, it was quite overt about religion and race and culture, but I feel like the attainment gap is the problem. So what I mean by that, if you're doing really well at school, gifted and talented, you get the support, you get knowledge, you get achievements. If you're doing not so well, like special educational needs, additional support, if you're in the middle band, you kind of get forgotten.
Yes.
And you kind of just coast through, and you never achieve your full potential, but you never kind of fail, so you're all right because you pass. So I feel like for inclusivity, we need to do more to make sure those people aren't forgotten and left by the wayside. So having people like mentorships or pastoral support going to schools to make a difference will help close that gap a bit more, I think.
That's a good point, actually, because usually if you're doing really well, of course you're noticed. It's like, you become a prefect or whatever, I can't actually remember, it's just, so long ago now.
Here she goes.
You like that one, Dad, didn't you? But back on the point. And if you're doing really badly, like, you're, like maybe you're a troublemaker or what have you, then people know. But you're right, there are so many in the middle. And it's quite difficult as well because, again, if you are a teacher spending a lot of time on people who are disruptive and then you're thinking, OK, this person is doing so well and I want to invest in them, how can you do that for like 30 people, for instance? It's quite difficult. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, so our young people have focus list students who are in that middle band. So they work with them day in, day out to make sure they are recognised and they do achieve and they do progress. So I think just when I trumpet, we do kind of add to that and make sure they're not forgotten.
That's really helpful.
Do you get any good feedback from parents who might have noticed then the difference between like before you guys stepped in and then as you're working?
Yeah, all the time, because we're there in the morning, so when they come in through the gates, we're there saying hi in our red jackets. So they notice us, they know the difference, they know us by name and by face. And we've been in school for 7 years straight through, so we have a good relationship with them throughout. And we also mentioned it Ofsted as well. So both sides, with parents and with government, we're noticed.
So how does this work? So if a parent's watching at home and thinks, wow, my child could benefit from this, is it the school that has to take you on board as a whole, or is it something that parents can approach you, just one-to-one? How does the whole thing work?
It's more through the school side. So the school will invest in what we do and get a team to back me up their school. And then once the school takes part of it, for the head teacher, senior leadership team, then we be in the school and then we run through. So it's more the school side that will endorse it.
Okay. So are you in their lessons? Do you help them with their schoolwork, homework, I should say, and things like that as well?
So we're in breakfast club. So before they start school, we're there making sure they get a good breakfast in their class. So whether it's maths, numeracy, literacy, whatever they do, in the playground, at lunchtime, literally every part of their day, they'll see a red jacket. After school club, they do activities themselves and they do homework clubs. So they're literally there from the first they see it at the school to the last that they leave.
That's amazing. You know why this is good? Because when you think about the playground, sometimes it can be a really scary place as well. And that's where a lot of bullying can take place. And if you know that you've got somebody who's on your side, it's almost like a big brother or big sister. And I think, because if you think about education and what can impact your education, when I think about my school times, there was a point in primary school where I was bullied, and that impacted my education because I didn't want to go to school, and then I would pretend that I was not well, and then obviously you miss certain classes and you can't catch up. Or if you're just not feeling good, like you said, you had an issue with depression, which made you drop out of uni. If you don't feel good about yourself, you can't push yourself to your full potential. And that is a lot of the things that do affect. So it would be good if people can recognise those things that are almost external to education, that impacts education as well.
How do you think we can inspire children to engage with education? Because it is a massive problem. There's so many distractions. There's social media. There's people wanting to be in gangs. There's people, wanting to make money quickly. And there's so many children as well who they may be from single parent families or families who are working so much that they're not able to invest in family time. So obviously these things get lost by the wayside. So what would be your key tips that we can inspire children to engage with education and see the importance of it?
I think a lot of it is about access. What you're saying, we see a lot of the negative side of social media. We don't see positivity much. So I think as young as primary school, so at 7, we just show them what you can achieve, who you can be. This person who you admire or this person who does something else did X, Y, Z to get there. Learning from leaders in the fields, whether they're celebrities or not, making access to positive role models continuously. And I think we see a lot of negativity, overwhelmingly too much. But if we kind of counteract that with positive things, whether it's role models or mentors or tutors or aspirations, they will see something else and be able to trigger that more so than the things they see that are bad.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's true. There does need to be the showing the more of the positive role models, because everyone is so quick to be, pick videos of people fighting or, people that are half naked and, instead of showing the powerful things that people have done. I mean, I think I saw in the media, it didn't hit like widestream. It was like last week sometime, a 22-year-old girl who is in NASA. So she's already working as an, forgive me if I got it wrong, but aeronautical engineer. So she's not even finished, I think it's MIT that they go to out there. And so she's the youngest person in her field to do that. But yet that doesn't hit widestream. We see, pregnancy pictures on Instagram, rather than, of course, I'm not putting her down, but it's like the positive things for people. So I think it's amazing what you guys are doing, and please, long may it continue, and schools, take them up. Okay, no, thank you so much for sharing everything with us today. It's great. So we're going to take a short break, but don't go away, as we'll be back with more on To Read or Write.